Hello, you're listening to Otaku Spirit Animecast. My name is Andrew, and I'm joined here with Chris.
Yo.
Today's episode is a discussional podcast episode. We talk about the news that seems important to us, dive into our community, hopefully get a chance to dive into our community. We're just going to have to do another mailbag episode because it's been like so long since we've been able to get around to questions and stuff, and I feel bad every time they go later than a month. But anyways, yes, there is a lot to discuss. Anime Expo happened, so we have a lot of things for at least me and Chris to talk about. For those that don't know, we have a YouTube channel at youtube.com/otakuspirit where you can get pretty much whenever something really big hits, I'm going to make a video on it so you can catch it then. But for all those that are just podcast listeners, I like to make sure that we have a discussion where we talk about the news and, of course, get Chris's opinion on stuff. And so that's what you're here for. If you watch those videos, you get Chris's opinion, which you probably want more than mine. And if you and if all you do is listen to the podcast, you get up to date. But yes, we're at otakuspirit.com. That's where you can go for all of our stuff. All the links there. We have our social media links, our Discord, obviously ways that you can support us through, our tips link, which thanks to Antonio B here recently for a nice little tip that he sent us. And, of course, a Patreon account there where you can sign up to support us on a monthly basis. We greatly appreciate everybody that supports us. It means a lot to us. It makes this happen, this whole thing where Andrew is doing this stuff full time. So, anywho, like I said, we have a lot to go through. Are you ready? Anything crazy over the last few weeks? Nothing of anything of note?
Just my show. It has been officially deemed my show now.
The Chris show.
The Chris show.
The one that is marked not safe for work on Discord. I like that Chris's channel is not safe for work. That's great. That just shows you the degeneracy of Chris.
Yes.
I'm going back to the unhappy.
There you go. And it is funny because the original web novel was not that crazy. So we'll see.
Yeah. Expectations. Set expectations. It's a Chris show, but you have to set expectation because of that. Chris finds that certain things very enjoyable, and those certain things aren't like crazy plot twists. There could be some stuff in there. But no, yeah, the season did start, and it's been absolutely bonkers. It's been a lot of stuff to keep up with. Typically, I wait for like a couple episodes before I do videos on them, but there's a lot of shows I just really badly want to talk about now. So I've been all over that, and that's been a crazy last. I'm getting comments now, people going, "Where's your Mushoku Tensei novel videos?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry, I'm doing the first impressions. I got to get this stuff done first, and then we'll go back to that." Plus, I'm honestly a little bit struggling with the last part of the second volume. It's like, what are we even talking about? I'm sure there's something interesting in there, but like this extra chapter, it's like, I don't even know if I care about anything that's happening in this, and I can't get through it. So I'll eventually force myself to read through it, but it's been like super boring, that last chapter. But anywho, that's besides the point. Again, news. News. Let's just dive into it because we got a lot of stuff to talk about, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, first bit, we have Discotech Media has announced they will release Symphogear GX Urusei Yatsura, the final chapter, and Tales of Fantasia anime on Blu-ray on September 27th. Additionally, they said they're going to release Beelzebub and Sayuki Reload Gunlock on standard Blu-ray format that same day. And finally, Konosuba Blessing on This Wonderful World second season in Steelbook format Blu-ray on September 27th. So really cool there. If you're a fan of Konosuba, at least, you can get that. And like I said before, Symphogear getting a physical release is really cool that they're doing that. So cool stuff. Anything that you're after there? I would like to get those. The Steelbooks, they always like, well, at least some seem to underproduce them, but they're probably because they're expensive to produce, so they don't want to produce too many and get stuck with the extras. But I really do like Steelbooks. They're really nice.
Maybe the Konosuba stuff. I know that the little bit of Beelzebub I watched, it seemed interesting, but it wasn't anything that kind of blew me out of the water. But I do know it's a very well loved show. So
yeah, it is kind of unfortunate. Beelzebub and Sayuki are standard definition Blu-rays. That always hurts. I mean, I understand it for like old stuff that doesn't really have like HD assets or assets that can turn into HD, but it is always kind of a bummer when you see the standard Blu-rays. They're fine though. They work just fine. They're better than VHS or something with like all the scan lines and stuff. Moving on, we have the official Twitter account for There's No Cure for My Brother Being Around Me announced that it will be getting an anime, or that the anime will be getting a 5th season. So there you go. For all the fans of that series, it's continuing on. I think Chris watched that one, didn't you?
I don't recognize it.
I don't remember the Japanese titles, like super long, obviously, but Ani ni Tsukeru Kusuri wa Nai is the Japanese title. But yeah. Another season for that. Exciting. It's getting 12 episodes, and it's supposed to be premiering on the Anime Store, which I have no clue what that is. Probably some Japanese streaming service, on July 29th. So we'll see who ends up picking it up over here. But
well, if it's got a 5th season, it's probably good. So
yeah, obviously, it has to be good. It's obviously very good. But original comics story centers around a violent girl who strikes her idiot older brother. The story also focuses on sibling love and food. The web manga has been read by 500 million times online in China. Apparently very, very big in China. Very big in China. So there you go. The anime staff for Bochi The Rock has released a new visual that announced an October release for this series. So this is something we already had the announcement that it was going to be this year. It's just we never got a confirmation on when. But I think at this point, all I can really do is be in fall. So we've managed to push it off so long that there's only one option unless you completely delay it. So, and they don't typically do that with most shows. So they probably had plans on October. It's just finally doing. I'm still super excited for this. It really looks great. Visually looks fantastic. I think this was Cloverworks. I think it's Cloverworks, right? Help me. Yes, Cloverworks. Yes.
Characters look good.
Yep. Bochi des. Bochi des. I wonder if she'll do the Bochi des thing. Hi, Bochi des. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It looks really good. But yeah, Cloverworks. Keep doing what you do in Cloverworks. But the official website for My Dress Up Darling has announced that they're going to be doing a new event to be held on September 17th. So I guess the big main thing to focus here is that this is not them announcing a second season for the anime, but they're curious. It is curious they're announcing a special event just for the anime fans. Maybe. Maybe. I know a lot of people are saying that they only, they're just barely getting to 80 chapters and they already went through 40 chapters in the adaptation, but there's two things there. One is that not every chapter is equal to this amount of time in an adaptation. They could see that there is there's enough content to push a full second season. They can do a shorter season, and additionally, they could already know where the story's going, and they can go beyond the manga, which is technically beneficial to the sales of future manga. But yeah, it's not an announcement yet, but I'm definitely setting my calendar for September 17th because I'm sure something could come from that, and a second season would be fantastic. So we'll see. We're gonna be optimistic, but we're of course gonna put our grain of salt in there that this isn't quite yet. But you excited for another season?
Absolutely.
I know that you didn't like it as much as I did, but there was that second part that I absolutely hated.
No, I love the show, and that just is so much hype right there. Just the idea, even if it is just an announcement of an announcement. I mean, we can hold out hope.
We miss modding. The official website for Square Enix's Gun magazine has announced that the manga adaptation of 86 has been canceled. This has been going on for quite a while. The mangaka has been having health issues, and so apparently they had a discussion and decided to cancel it, which is unfortunate, mainly because we really need the mangaka to get better. So obviously, his health is the prime, or her, either one. Their health is the priority here, and hopefully they get better despite this being canceled. But that's usually a very unfortunate sign that if they have to cancel, then something's not going well. So hopefully they get better, though. But I didn't even know it had a manga, so that's the shocker for me. I probably would have checked out the manga, but that's yeah, like I said, that's very unfortunate. So there you go. Deadline has reported that Stranger Things' Matt Duffer and Ross Duffer are working on a new live-action adaptation of Death Note for Netflix.
Just facepalm, okay? That's all I have to say. I mean, come on. I mean, really. At some point, maybe
It's
they'll
already
accidentally.
dead.
At some point, they'll accidentally make it good, right?
Right, if they just do it a million times, eventually one of them will be like, that was all right. Which one? The 15th one. That one was okay. Just watch that one. Really? Yeah, the 15th one. Not the 14th. That 14th one. Dang, it was bad. But yeah, that's a stop moment, like an STAHP stop moment. But yeah, it's going to be produced by the newly formed studio Upside Down Pictures, and reports say that it's going to be a new take on Netflix's previous adaptation. So basically saying that, that last thing we did, it's not going to be a sequel to it. It's nothing to do with it. We're doing our own thing. So that's a positive.
To give you credit, because I did watch your video where you did end up talking
Chris
about
watches
this.
my content.
And I will give you credit on the idea of, okay, yes, Stranger Things is a really beloved show.
Did you watch it?
No, I actually never did.
Oh.
I meant to, but I just never got around to it.
You get a sense from the trailers and stuff, though. I mean, it's very good at suspense.
And it's one of those things that I do give credit to the idea of, if it's got a solid director, maybe possibly they can pull it off. But I mean, there's still the aspect of, you have to love the stuff that you're going to be doing, and sometimes it really does come off as some of these directors, when they get these Japanese properties, they go, well, we can tweak it a little bit here, we can put in a little bit of our stuff here, and it's like, at some point you go, well, do you really love the property? I mean, do you want to do this property, or do you want to do your own thing? It's just modeled after what you think is interesting out of this other product. So that's my thought on it. Take it for what it is. I hope it does well.
Yeah, the only thing that somebody kind of pointed out to me that I'm curious about, I haven't really been able to find a direct quote, but there has been statements saying that the Stranger Things, they were inspired by Elfenlied. So it at least kind of shows that they know anime. I mean, Stranger Things, in a sense, is kind of anime-esque. Like, it does have a little bit of their feel of horror and stuff like that. So I can kind of see that. But like I said, that knowing that, if that is true, that they were inspired, there's a lot of articles on it, so apparently it's true. Obviously, since you can Google it, it's there, it's true. And not completely that somebody made it up and everybody, basically sourced it. But no, if that is the case, then that at least shows me that the Duffer Brothers kind of have some experience in anime, like they do know what anime is, and that's kind of a positive. But like my statement has always been, if you're a Western company, make it Western. Don't touch the original story. Now, granted, somebody made a good point. The Netflix adaptation was very Western, but it was stupid Western. Like, it was dumb and horrible writing Western. Don't give me the idiot shutout guy that spazzes out at everything. Give me something that's really critical. And this is the other thing that would kind of hit me as I was talking about the idea of it being the creators of Stranger Things. Like I said, I watched 2 seasons of it, and they did suspense well. They did the unknown very well. And I think Death Note has a little bit of feel in there. What is he going to do? Kind of aspect. But additionally, they knew how to do, or at least their team, they knew how to do the setting really well. Because obviously Stranger Things was set in the 70s or something like that, or 80s. It's set back in time. And they pulled off that setting well. The vehicles and the phones and everything, the setting itself, the clothing. And I think that lets me know that they're creative in envisioning something. And if they can, here's a thought process. Why not just make it a different time period? Like, get out of the current time period. Take internet crap out of the story itself. Just go back in time a little bit to it's more a simple story, but it's still effective. Because I think when you start getting to more modern time Death Note, that's when you start getting into some really dumb stuff that I don't really care to see again.
It is one of those interesting aspects of the going to what you were mentioning earlier about the fact that in these bigger names are taking note of anime more and more often. I mean, you have several different directors that who is it? Torino, the guy who did Battle Angel, was it?
I don't know. I forget.
It was just a couple years ago, and we ended up watching it. Anyway, my point is that they're starting to have to get to the point where they have to take note of anime. It's becoming such a presence anymore that
they're tired of remaking stuff over here.
That too, but
so they're gonna remake stuff from over there.
It's one of those funny things of how this is one of those aspects that I mention a lot of times where you can see this all the cultural shifts as things are moving around. It's like a couple seasons ago we were talking about the guy in Netflix that was saying that that more and more people are watching anime and stuff like that, and it's like it's getting to the point where they can't ignore it anymore. It's the culture is shifting, whether they want to acknowledge it or not. There is a presence, and anime is there, and they can't ignore it much anymore.
I mean, there's something to be said about how things work in Japan. I mean, if I was somebody that's like, I need a story to adapt. Like, I don't have any creativity myself. I just need a story to put into picture format. I would go to Japan and I would take somebody that can translate, and I would go into a manga shop. Like, it's literally a wall of ideas. And they're creating ideas every 2 seconds. There's web novels being created on a daily basis. Japan is just, they're spewing out so much content. And yes, a lot of it's samey. Yes, a lot of it's flops. But there's so many, it's like a scatter shot if you walk into one of these manga stores that are just covered wall to wall with paper. And to think that you could just walk in there and literally just pull a book off a shelf and go, would this work, is the idea there. And I think that's some credit to at least their publishing system and stuff there. They're constantly throwing out stuff, looking for something that'll finally stick. And I just don't feel like we have that in the West. We do have a lot of publishing companies that will publish a lot of books and stuff, but the creativity is not there anymore because I would argue they're so focused on being afraid of stepping on the wrong toes over here, where over there it's like, I'm going to make a toilet-chan, and she's going to be talking about jumping over the moon. Okay, make a manga out of it.
I think that's an interesting tidbit. Is a lot of and this is where my ultimate mindset is that eventually at some point I think that for lack of a better term.
You said it again.
I said it. I'm going to get in trouble.
I was talking about that. I edited the last podcast, and I heard him say that like 3 times in a row, and I was editing, and I'm like, nah, I'm going to leave it. And then sure enough, somebody said something about it on Discord.
And take this for what it is. I'm not actually saying that this is going to happen, but I think that Hollywood is going to move, and not the physical Hollywood. I think that you're going to start seeing Hollywood start to slowly die away and something new kind of replace it. And I think Japan might be one of those cultural centers that will kind of slowly move into the placement of basically the entertainment center of the world. I mean,
what's Hollywood? Are you talking about Marvelwood?
Yeah, right. I mean, there is other ones like
Marvel and Pixarwood.
I mean, Texas is trying to kind of take that place as well, but there's other places that are. Paris is. I don't know that Paris has necessarily got the.
Paris.
It does have a lot of cultural synergy there, but
Bollywood,
it doesn't.
Chris, Bollywood's going to take over. They do some crazy stuff.
My point being is that they have all these different places that are trying to take over the king spot, and Hollywood is having such a hard time. While they still have the cultural momentum there,
they still have blockbusters,
slowly,
but
yeah,
I think a lot of people are
they're fed up.
Else. Yeah, they're getting tired.
People are fed up with it, and that's the thing is what happens when, just like we were talking about with back in the day when we were talking about World of Warcraft or Blizzard, and how while it still has that power, it's on its death spiral, and these other companies are trying to take that place. The worst time for you to make mistakes is when you are in a death spiral, because you if you want to take that energy back, you have to start fixing your problems. And sometimes they get to a point where their arrogance forces them to just continue on that death spiral. So it's an interesting thought. Like I said, I'm not in good at tea leaf reading. I see these things in the grander picture. I don't follow Hollywood anymore. I gave up on Hollywood a long time ago. I just watch the interesting interplay between all of these the cultural world as a whole, and I see interesting aspects. And Japan becoming more and more of an influence, I think, is very interesting. And I think that that's something that a lot of people should take more note of, that these directors can't ignore these properties anymore.
Yeah, and I think Netflix has been the main key one there, because I mean they have Cowboy Bebop, they're doing One Piece, they're doing Netflix for the second time now. We had some other kind of semi-independent studio that was doing the Sword Art Online. I'm not sure what the hell happened to that, but apparently that was happening. Akira apparently is a thing. I have no clue what's going on with that, but they're obviously really picking up on a lot of that stuff. And yes, we have some that are technically based off of stuff like All You Need Is Kill, that was Live Free, Live, Die, Repeat, that are still kind of seeping over here. So it is a cool thing. I honestly do appreciate that it's getting that acceptance, but at the same time, like I argued with somebody before, where they say if Death Note 2 is terrible, you still have the original. It doesn't really matter. And it's like, yeah, I get that, but at the same point, there is something to be said about something having a bad adaptation and it ruining the image of the original product. I honestly, the first Death Note movie was the Netflix one. The live action Japanese one was really good, actually. The Netflix live action Death Note kind of ruined its image. Like I can see somebody going, "Oh, Death Note's on here, and it's American, so that it might be more easy for me to watch." And they watch it and they go, "I heard this was a good story. This is terrible. This is like super terrible."
I think that they should.
It should have like a little like discrepancy on the bottom left-hand corner that says, "This is our Netflix version. Please do not feel like this is the indication of the original source material. If you don't like this, please still check out the source material."
I think it's more interesting. I wish that they would take more note, and instead of just trying over and over and over again until they get a good version, leave it alone for a while. Go find some. I mean, people are complaining about there being too many shows in one season. There's plenty of material to work with. Death Note is not the only show that people like, because a lot of people do like Death Note, but there is more.
I just thought about it. I want to show a Genroku live action,
right?
Japanese though, obviously.
It's one of those things that I would like to see other properties being touched instead of only Death Note. I mean, we got.
Isn't that a good thing though? Just keep messing up Death Note, and that way we can save
then we don't have to.
Else.
Everything else is.
We'll just assume it's gonna be bad. I was still surprised that they did Cowboy Bebop, and like I said, that was the one that you really can't fill, but they sort of did, which is unfortunate. But anywho, that's happening. I would really love it if like the Duffer Brothers came out and said, "Yeah, we just want to come out and say that we thought that the other adaptation was terrible too." And wouldn't that be a statement? Just to come out and be honest, say we didn't like the other one, and we're going to do it better. And that would boost my confidence a lot. But they're not going to do that, because you're not going to want to step on and spit on somebody else's project. So we'll see though. I'm much more positive on this one than I was the previous one, but we'll see with the trailers. I think the trailer is going to be very telling if they can pull off that tone and that feel of it. So we'll see. We'll see. Moving on, Animeplex has announced that they will release the PS4 and Switch versions of Type Moon's Witch on the Holy Night visual novel in the West on December 8th. This, of course, is going to be simultaneous release with Japan's release, which I think is really fantastic. This, of course, is the new version that will be fully voiced and HD graphics. So if you're a Type Moon fan, or you're trying to get into more besides Fate, Stay Night, I guess, check that out.
You think that's going to be John?
Huh?
Is that going to be John?
Is that going to be John?
Jean d'Arc?
No, that's like the Tsukuyomi stuff. Not the Tsukuyomi stuff, the Tsukihime. There it is. The story is noted as being one that tangible connections with the loosely connected Nasu universe, the English-speaking fan term, shared universe and cosmology. in Type Moon Works, including Tsukihime, Fate Stay Night, and Garden of Sinners. So
Gotcha.
there you go. 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 I do like that though. I love that Aniplex is being more acceptant of the West having visual novels. They did those like 3 bam 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 releases on Steam at some point, which I haven't got a chance to read one of them, but I was starting it. But
would like to see the rest the main series.
It'd be great to get Fate Stay Night visual novel finally in the West.
That's what I was saying. It would be nice to get the originals.
Yeah, and that would. I wonder if that would sell like hotcakes.
You know,
like,
it would.
Do you think
it
they
would
just assume that
explode.
everybody has read it that's going to read it?
It's one of those.
I think it's just the fact that the content in it, they don't want to deal with the controversies.
Maybe
The mana filling stuff.
I think that once they actually do it, they'll probably be blown away by how much of a turnout people would do.
You got to know that like Sekai Project was fighting at some point for like. They knew that would. I mean, if they got Clannad and Grisaya, they went for Fate, and it never happened.
Do you think that they just know how much how valuable it is, or do you?
I'd assume, and they probably, and I would imagine if Sekai Project went to them, they said, "Here, this much," and they're like, "No."
I mean, that's the only thing I can figure because I can't imagine that.
Fate is money.
Yeah, I know the idea of the possibility of controversy is there. I get it, but you got it. I mean, with as much as has been turned out before, you would think that
it too.
Yeah, I mean, Grisaya was I've always assumed was 10 times worse than what that is, and I can't imagine that these people don't realize how much gold that is, unless they just figure that because it's been out on the fan sites for so long that it's not.
Yeah.
I otherwise I can't think of any other reason why
so
they
is
wouldn't do
Clannad
it.
and so is Grisaya. That's the question mark there.
Right. However,
aged.
Yeah, because of how long it's been out. I mean, that was one of the first properties I knew of that had fan translations. So maybe they just figure it's just not worth it anymore. I don't know.
No. My assumption is it's probably the license too expensive. Because
that's the only thing.
Is like cash money over there. I don't know. That was my question mark when it came to things like, why does Alchemist Code have fake characters in it? It's like, does somebody know somebody? Because I don't see that game making that much money, but again, it is a gacha game, so they make lots of money, but I don't know. It's all weird. It doesn't make any sense. I don't think it'll ever make sense. But at least we can get Witch on the Holy Night visual novel on December 8th, I guess. That is the plus.
Maybe we're just over thinking it. I mean, maybe it's just not as popular as they think, or as we think. I think that's wrong, but
yeah, I'd imagine a lot of these groups, if they're smart, they're gauging interest in how much they can make out of it. So, the official website for the anime adaptation of Mashle, which by the way is getting an anime adaptation. I read the other news bit, but yes, Mashle is getting an anime adaptation. Mashle, Magic, and Muscles. But yes, the official website has actually updated to announce that it is going to be a complete adaptation of the manga. So that's pretty crazy. It's set to premiere in 2023, and the manga has entered its 12th and final volume. So that tells you the source material is done, or being done, and they'll be going right into an anime adaptation of it entirely, at least based on that quote-unquote complete part on the website. For those that don't know, this is a world of magic, and it's a world of magic where magic is used for everything. But deep in the forest exists a young man who spends all of his time training and bulking up. He can't use magic, but he enjoys a peaceful life with his father. But one day his life is put in danger. Will his muscular body protect him from magic users who are out to get him? Powerfully trained muscles crush magic as this abnormal magical fantasy begins. So, very interesting. That's interesting. Right.
Odd concept. So let's go with it.
Yeah, I kind of thought like, I seen the key art when I first seen this announcement, and I seen this guy like standing there like crushing a wand. It didn't really dawn on me until I read the synopsis. Oh, yeah, he doesn't know how to use magic. He's just breaking the wand because he's muscular. But my mind immediately went to something like I don't know, a Hogwarts thing. Like I was gonna be a Hogwarts story or something like that. But no, he's gonna destroy everything magic. So completely different than what I imagine it be. So that's cool though. Always love to hear when things are getting full adaptations. I don't think they have an announcement for a studio or anything ? So No, I don't see a studio. We'll see. We'll see though. Kadokawa's store has listed a Blu-ray box set for Harem I'm sorry. Kadokawa has listed a Blu-ray box set for Chris's show. It's going to be a limited edition release for the first volume, which will include a 1/7 scale figure of Roxanne in lingerie.
Now, my question is that's
Harem in a Labyrinth in Another World, by the way. I'm just joking.
that's the American side?
No, that's the Japanese listing.
It's the
Kadokawa.
Japanese side. That's what I thought it was. So.
Yeah, I doubt we're gonna get a physical release of this show, Chris. I'm sorry. I really am at this point curious what Crunchyroll / Funimation is doing for physical releases going forward. I mean, they still have a lot of the listings for the earlier shows, or at least last year's shows on Funimation's site, but I don't hear about any announcements for physical releases anymore. And like, we still haven't heard about Mushoku Tensei, which is like, that's money. Like, that's so much money right there.
Because I was desperately searching for that to find out where who had that, and I found out that it was in the box set. So I was hoping that we would get a version of it here, but
go get that Japanese Blu-ray, Chris.
Right?
How much is it listed for? Probably like probably 200. I'm gonna guess 200.
Yeah, just
176. Well, probably 150ish for transfer. I'm not sure how the dollar's doing right now compared to the yen. So yeah, that's it's 17,000 yen, by the way. So yeah, get that, Chris. Go. No, this is volume 2. Volume 1 has the figure. So 100 almost $150 just for the first set. Where's this the second set? What is the first list at? We want to see the one that has a figure. That's the interesting one. Normal version lingerie. There it is, right there.
$400. Wow.
39,000 Japanese yen. So yeah, you're looking at more like 370 at least dollars USD. Ugh. Go get it, Chris. Go get that. You know that's going to be the most janky figure ever. It looks good in the prototype though. It has that whole like hair line thing, but that's fine. Interesting. We're now. It has a signed Roxy thing too.
I mean, I
this
almost
is probably already sold out. No, it's still available, I guess.
I would almost get that. The problem is I don't want I want at least some subtitles on there. That's the frustrating thing.
Yeah, I doubt it's gonna have subtitles.
Yeah,
but again, this is probably gonna be the only way you're gonna get a physical release of the show, because this thing gonna get no physical release. I don't know. That's something I'm keeping an eye on, but I really am curious how we're gonna see the future of physical releases going forward. I'm curious if they'll just do nothing but licensing the shows and just streaming them, just to kind of cut back on production and stuff. I know they're still doing dubs. The dub side of Funimation is still going, but we just don't really know where the physical distribution is going for them. I think if somebody announces a Mushoku release here soon, I think that's gonna be telling. There you go, Chris. Get on that. It's a 1/7 scale too, so it's a little bit more beefier in size. So there you go. Anyways, moving on, because Chris doesn't want to talk about this no more. It's like out of sight, out of mind, right? That's why he hates Ami. He doesn't like to go to Ami at all anymore,
I refuse to go to Ami. I almost don't even go to the other stores either. So.
The official website, or an official website, has been launched for the anime adaptation of the Isekai Manwa, Why Raliania Ended Up in the Duke's Mansion. So, getting an anime adaptation, pretty awesome. This one is Unha Park was just a regular girl, desperate to get into college. But when she finally does, her elation is cut short when she's pushed off a roof, only to wake up as Raylania. I hate that name. Raylania Macmillan, a character from a novel whose death serves as a catalyst for the story's events. But Raylania, but Zed refuses to die a second time and is determined to change her fate no matter what. That sounds very much like Villainous. My Next Life is a Villainous.
The show sounds familiar, like we've at least talked about it at some point, but I don't remember exactly the details. It seemed like we were talking about similar to Villainous, where the character was going into doing some different things to avoid it, and one of the things that she had done was go into a duke's castle and try to get involved in that. But like I said, I don't really remember exactly the details on that one, but it was probably last year sometime we ended up talking about it in one of our discussionals. Is they were talking about
maybe somebody licensed the manhwa.
Maybe that's possible too.
We don't typically get manhwa stuff over here, unfortunately. They're usually focused on mangas and stuff, so I don't know. That does sound familiar, though. The idea of like going to the Duke's mansion is a way of preventing death, but we'll see. That's interesting. I always like when, especially with the one that we're going to be talking about here in a minute, whenever they get these adaptations of manhwas that are obviously very popular that people do enjoy. Not that I'm like anti-manhwa, like it has to be from Japan.
Yeah, we've never.
Some of them are good, so.
Yeah, that's the thing is we've never been anti. We just like something that we're going to end up talking about in a little bit. It's one of those things that people have been asking us to cover it, but it's one of those things of there's just so much in the.
We already have enough in Japan.
Yeah, we have enough in Japan. Going into the other ones is a little bit more difficult to do.
Yeah, it's like Link Click. It's like everybody was super excited about Link Click, and it's like, yeah, it's great, but yeah, and then it's like Ruby, and yeah, I know, but Last Airbender, yeah, I know, but Castlevania, no, yeah, I know, but. Only so much time, and I still have to rewatch Bleach or reread it. Everybody wants me to read through One Piece, and I still need to read Mushoku Tensei. Like I still have so much stuff to do. So, anyways, time. Next bit of news, unfortunate news. For those that are not aware, Yu-Gi-Oh's creator Kazuki Takahashi has unfortunately passed away. This was reported that the Japanese Coast Guard found him off the coast of Nago City in Okinawa. I believe I haven't actually gone to confirm this yet, but I believe somebody said it was due to a shark attack. So he was like, when they found him, they actually found him in his scuba diving gear. So very unfortunate news. I know that a lot of people, he was a kind of a cornerstone of their childhood. I was not into Yu-Gi-Oh, but I know a lot of people that were super into it when they were younger. That was like their Pokemon. That was their Digimon or whatever. So very unfortunate.
I followed it for a couple of seasons. I did really enjoy it. It's one of those that I agree with Andrew that it really sucks to see
another legend in the mangaka field.
Definitely a pillar, and every time one of these pillars either meets an unfortunate end or a and when, like we were talking about earlier with one of those pillars being sick and just canceling, and we hope for the best for them, because these are things that we do truly love. We even if I don't follow Yu-Gi-Oh as heavily as some people do, I do know the influence that this person has, and it is frustrating to see such an important figure go away.
Yeah. But thankfully, I guess the positive you can see is that his legacy will live on, and people can still enjoy his work for future generations. So, moving on, we have some really exciting news out of Crunchyroll during the Anime Expo. Finally, the most leaked thing ever. They finally announced that Solo Leveling is getting an anime adaptation. Of course, this is based off the manhwa of Solo Leveling. That's going to be premiering on Crunchyroll in 2023. Studio has been confirmed to be in A1 Pictures. The director is Shunsuke Nakashige, who's pretty much only known for doing Mother of Goddess Dormitory, as well as some episodes of Sword Art Online, Alicization, and War of Underworld. So I think that's the only thing that a lot of people, including myself, is kind of a little bit hesitant on, is that the director hasn't really done much. But character design is being done by Tomoko Sudo, who's pretty much been known for doing Alice in Borderland. So there's another kind of question mark one, which I think the art style of Alice in Borderland kind of sort of gets close to Solo Leveling. So I guess it's fine. One exciting thing that I did find was that the music is being done by Hiroki. One exciting thing that I found was that the music's being done by Sawano Hiroyuki. So that was, when I heard that in the trailer, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Sawano. I can hear Sawano. And then sure enough, his name popped up on the screen. I'm like, yes.
Can you play the PV?
It's mostly just manga clips.
That's right, you said that.
But
I'm sorry.
There is some good music in the background, but I can't play the music as a recording, unfortunately. But Yeah, it does have me super excited, mainly around Sawano, A1 Pictures, but it's very pretty stills of the manga. That's one thing, I guess. But yeah, the head writer list. I'm not sure what a head writer is. Crunchyroll listed as a head writer. I'm not sure if that's a script writer or series composition, probably series composition writer. That is Noboru Kimura, who's done Gundam Age, Knights and Magic, Kokoku, Amime, and Healer Girl. So good stuff there. But yeah, I think the key things here is A1 Pictures. Hopefully it's their A team, not their outsourcing team. Sawano Music, and hopefully a really good story behind it, as much as everybody's hyped up this stuff for the longest time.
There's Cha, by the way. That's your girl.
Yeah, okay. There's a Saber character, so there you go.
You're gonna love her.
I just joked about the fact that I read a little bit of the manga and all I got out of it was Danmachi, but I know that's probably going to make some people mad. It's not a bad thing. Just it kind of starts similar. The guy going in the dungeon and getting pretty much taken out. But yeah, what cool thing that came from the Anime Expo announcement, because obviously this was leaked long before, mainly around the only leak that I really announced, or at least did anything on, was the leak about a marketing company in Japan licensing the anime Solo Leveling website. So that was kind of a given that it was going to happen. But some cool things that came out of the announcement from Anime Expo was that the author Chugong had left a message for them, which says, about 6 years ago when I was writing the very beginning of Solo Leveling, if someone said to me, the novel you wrote will become a comic, I bet I told them to stop pulling my leg. But now I'm being told that it's being animated. Seriously, stop pulling my leg. But these days, I'm feeling excited and thrilled. Since I'm still half doubting this is real, I want to see Jinwoo and the other characters get animated soon and feel relieved. I'll keep working diligently while looking forward to that day. LOL. The illustrator, Dubu, said Solo Leveling is finally making an anime debut. It feels like only yesterday that we were getting an offer for an anime adaptation. I feel so overwhelmed when I think that the anime is really being created right now. This is all thanks to you fans and who love and support Solo Leveling. I'm filled with gratitude. Thank you very much. Also, please support the animation production team. If this anime gives new enjoyment to the readers, I'll be very happy. So, cool stuff. Excited, Chris?
Yes, actually,
he went and blew through the whole manga, so now I can't talk to him about anything related to Solo Leveling going forward.
I can officially announce that I have completed the entire series. I'm actually
manga, not the light novel, right?
The manhwa. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
It's originally a light novel. Yeah,
it was original.
Yeah, it's originally a light novel because he's talking about how he was writing it and then it became a comic. So
it's one of those that it's a fascinating tidbit because I was not big on it in the first half. The second half really pulled everything together. I will admit that. One thing that I will give this series more than anything else is I want to see the fights animated, because it has some fantastic action moments, and I think that's where its strength is going to be. At least in the first half. I kind of mentioned this to Andrew. It balances this kind of blade's edge between being the underdog and being the overpowered character at the same time, and it does that really well. Those are its two greatest strengths, and like I said, outside of that, going into the second half is when everything started pulling together. And it actually does have a really, really solid through line for its storyline. In the first half, a lot of that stuff is kind of just lost in the him constantly kind of working up his strength. So it's interesting. I do really give it credit for its action moments, and I think that that's going to be its main draw, at least for the first season, for sure. I hope they do the completed version and do actually get into the second season, which I can see 2 seasons coming out of this for sure.
And that's the thing, is like most everybody that I hear that's like that was always super hyped for Solo Leveling I think a lot of them kind of eventually reveal that it's a lot to do with the art style and the visuals. So it's like it kind of makes me believe that the manhwa is where the actual popularity is, the comic version of it, because it does seem like that's, yes, when I've seen the visual, the art style does some really cool stuff. So, yeah, I'm excited for it. I will keep my expectations in check so that I don't overhype it, because it's obviously been hyped for the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 years or so. I don't know how long it's been since people first started saying, this is better than Sword Art Online, go read this. So it's like, okay, gotcha. We'll see. But I'm glad that it's finally been announced. That way people can stop, quote unquote, leaking it, and we can move on to leaking other stuff. So, yeah. There you go. Soul Leveling. Crunchyroll announced at Anime Expo, additionally, that Tomo-chan is a Girl is receiving an anime adaptation to premiere in January of 2023. So, I've seen a couple people that were kind of hype on that announcement. So, I guess I'm glad for all those people on that one. This one is Tomo Izawa. The title character is a tomboy who had crush on her childhood friend Junshiro, who sees her not as a woman but as one of the boys. Hilarity ensues when she tries many times in vain to show her love, but ended up physical in times. Also, their mutual friends Mizuzu Gundo does things her way. Many characters are mixed in the mess. So, tomboy trying to be seen as a girl, and it's not going to work out because the guy just sees her as one of the boys. So, very cute. I always like my tomboy character, so I'll be interested to see how that one kind of turns out. Art style's okay. There's a couple shots that are kind of on the trailer, but I'll be interested to see how that one turns out.
It looks cute.
Yep. I never liked the bike shorts, though. She got the whole bike short thing going on. But that is technically signature tomboy thing. that way she can kick and have no problems, which obviously she's probably going to do because it says that it always ends up physical. So that's probably her beating the crap out of him.
She's a super tsundere.
Yeah. Studio Trigger. This one was pretty crazy. Kind of blew up the internet for a little bit, but Studio Trigger has did announce at Anime Expo that they are working on a new project for Panty and Stocking with Garter Belt franchise. So, yay! That's coming back, Chris. You excited? Are you excited, Chris? I don't know. It never got me. It felt too Western when I first watched it, so I'm like, I'm going back to anime.
I tried to do it once or twice. I tried to. It's one of those that I didn't like the humor, and that was my biggest problem with it. I'm mixed on their quote unquote art style. However, but when they do their kind of transformation scenes and they get the actual anime versions of Penny and Stocking, I love their art. They look fantastic. What is it, the Angel version or whatever? I
think so, yeah.
Every once in a while they would clip into it, and it's like those two are gorgeous. But outside of that, nah.
You don't like the Powerpuff Girls style?
Mixed on it. I've never been first. Big on it.
Powerpuff Girls is first, right?
Probably.
So you think they kind of got that style from them? It seems very that much style. So, yeah, I might check. I might try the first season again before that comes out. We'll see. Like I said, it felt very Western.
It popped up on Crunchyroll recently, so
yeah. I think the
just have to push myself to push that button.
I think the thing that's always been with that one is I think that was one of those ones that was more successful in the West, and I think they knew that the time that it came out. I heard some people saying that it was one of those ones they rushed it because they rushed it to the West because they knew that it would take off here, and sure enough, it did. So a lot of fans out there. Definitely excited for you guys.
I'm trying to get away from Western material, so.
But yeah, we finally got the panel at Anime Expo for Trigun Stampede. That happened. Finally, we got the trailer for Orange to show off their 3D CG version of the world of Trigun. And it was funny because when it was first kind of leaked out, or when it was first announced by Orange, not leaked, the big question mark I had was like, how are people going to like the fact that this is a 3D CG company? They're not doing 2D Trigun. But sure enough, like when it came out, I was surprised. The argument that most people had was that they just didn't like the new look for Vash, which I kind of agree. I mean, we're so used to him having the flipped up hair, and then suddenly he's got like this whole combed down look. It's definitely not definitely not Vash, but it's very orange. It's very Studio Orange. That's what I'll definitely say. See, I think in the end, I think it was about a 50-50. Like, there was a 50% of people like, this looks fine. I'm excited for it still. There was the other 50 was kind of like, oof, rough, CGI, I don't like it, I'm done. And then there was a part that was just kind of like, look, I don't like his new style. Like, why did they change his art style? Which they did end up having an interview with the creator and stuff on Crunchyroll's site that they're pretty much like, yeah, we're kind of expecting that people would be a little bit off-put by the change in style, but we're still doing it. We're still doing it. We're already this far in. We're gonna keep going. It's not like we're gonna suddenly. This isn't Sonic. We're not gonna change the style of the character.
I don't know. I'm surprised. I don't think it looks bad.
Yeah, it's CG, but I'm not always off-put by CG like people are. I watch a lot of CGI anime, so I'll definitely be checking this out. Would I have wanted a 2D? Yeah, for sure, no doubt. But this is what we got, so I will definitely be checking it out either way. But yeah, that happened. They have a premiere date for 2023, so we have a whole year to possibly be launched in. They did, during the discussions at the panel, the things that I did notice when I was watching what Orange put up on the stream. One of the guys from Orange actually streamed it on their phone. So the audio was terrible. But the thing that I noticed is they kept bringing up the idea that the key art and stuff was saying that it's coming and not that it's coming back. So they were putting a lot of emphasis on the idea that this is going to be a new project, which is obvious. Based on the PV, you can see this is starting from the origin. Like, the original anime adaptation, which I think was decently close to the manga, I'm not sure. It had a bunch of shenanigans happening. Everybody's chasing down Vash. He's got the wanted poster out for him. Everybody wants the bounty. And then eventually, like way late in the anime adaptation, suddenly we got the backstory. We got to see where Vash came from. And this PV is like literally starting from that point. So just like with their original announcement where they said it was quote unquote an original 3D CG take on the franchise, made me believe it's probably going to still have the same story beats, but just probably rearranged to start from the origin story and go on. So that'll be interesting. The PV is definitely very more dark. Like, it's not trying to be fluffy. They'll probably still have the goofy Vash in there at some point, but from the get-go, the PV is all about the tough side of Vash, like not the goofy comedic side. So I'll be curious to see how they rope in that side of Vash that we've seen from the anime. So, or if they don't, they possibly may not ever. So that'd be interesting. Excited still? Are you looking forward to a dark Vash story, not the goofy Vash story?
We'll see.
Moving on, we have Viz Media unveiled a new trailer for the Bleach anime series at Anime Expo. So that happened. So I think it's on Toho's YouTube channel. I literally just said Viz Media announced it. Viz's YouTube channel. You can check it out there. But yeah, that's still coming in October, so be excited for that. They also revealed a key art for it. But yeah, this is of course going to be covering the 1,000-year Blood War. The other thing is that at the Anime Expo panel is that Kubo recorded a video. Said in that video, he said that he wants the fans to expect a modern contemporary coloring and a new and refreshing viewing experience with the new anime, which I'm guessing just kind of insinuating that it's not going to be like set in the same style and everything as the old, at this point now, old anime series. He added that he's closely involved with all aspects of the anime. Kubo also acknowledged that the anime thus far has omitted some scenes from that were from the manga, but he wants to get them back in if possible. So possibly some extra stuff that maybe was skipped that he deems should be in there that he's going to have pushed back into the adaptation. But we'll see. You read the manga, right?
Finished it? I'm not completed, but I'm pretty close to completing it.
I was like curious if this could be possibly a multi-core.
Oh,
I doubt they can cover it in one core, especially if he's talking about adding scenes in there.
The funny thing about Bleach is that because I think that we ended up discussing it at some point, and it felt like where they left off there was a massive gap between where they had left off and where this stuff is supposed to be taking place, and I was absolutely blown away by the idea that they would just skip an entire section. But when I went back to look at it, it doesn't seem like it. So it's one of those that feels like different parts seem like they should be taking longer than other parts should be. So I don't know. It's I can see it going several cores for sure. At least 4 cores probably. But at the same time, the way that the stuff translates to actual animated stuff, maybe it's just because there's a lot of stuff that's being skipped. I don't know. It's odd.
Yeah. I really.
It's just like Attack on Titan, where things don't translate the same way that they feel like they are in the manga panels, where it just seems like they just go on and on and on and on when they're actually doing discussions, but when it actually translates to the scenes on video, it doesn't work out the same way.
Yeah, true. Have simultaneous combat with people going, what just happened there? Yeah, looking for that. I'm like I said before, I don't know if I'm gonna do a rewatch or maybe just burn through the manga just to get reacquainted with everything that's going on, because I'm completely lost at this point, and I really do want to be in with that whole excitement when it comes back, and I don't want to be lost. So we'll see. Sentai Filmworks has announced that at Anime Expo that they have licensed the following: Peter Grill and the Philosopher's Time second season, which will be airing this year, which is probably going to be fall. Chikawa, Ragna Crimson, Reincarnated as a Sword, which are going to be in October. And I've somehow gotten stronger when I improved my farm-related skills, which again is going to be in October. So I'm excited for Reincarnated as a Sword. That one looks cool. I think they released a PV for it, which was exciting too. That's the one where it has like the girl that's like really had a terrible life, and then he shows up as a sword, and then she wields him. So, cute cat girl wielding a sword. That's always a plus for me. That's an easy win for Andrew. I'm not sure if it's gonna have a good story or what, but at least we have that. So that's all I need. But yeah, the other one, the farm one, like I've said before, was kind of funny. I seen the trailer for that one where he basically kills a dragon with a carrot. I think it was a carrot. So that's always, that one I think is probably gonna be funny for the first episode, but we'll see where it goes after that. But yeah, exciting stuff. And I'm really excited that they got Peter Grill, because I really don't want some other company, Crunchyroll, to have that one, because it's super raunchy and I don't know what will happen. Now, granted, High Dive may stream the censored version of Peter Grill. I'm not saying they're going to have the uncensored version, but they're more likely to get the uncensored version, whereas Crunchyroll at this point I doubt will ever have.
Yeah, my show being,
except for Shin Ikitosen, that was the only version they had. There was no uncensored version of Shin Ikitosen, so
They lost the last of my trust with my show, so I'm done with them.
I'm curious with the whole this, because it's a big sword. It's got that cute thing about, cute little cat girl that has gigantic sword. I'm curious if it's gonna be one of those things where he's obviously flying
contrast around. Andrew, contrast.
It's obviously one of those things where it shows him flying around the sky and stuff by himself. So I'm curious if it's one of those things where she's super strong, or if the fact that he's able to move her with him to be able to wield it. So it's cool though. The action scenes they show in the trailer look great so far, so I hope that they keep that quality, honestly. So, but yeah, cat girl. Yeah, cool stuff. Now here's some crazy. No, this isn't yet. Or not yet. But Right Stuff and Nozomi Entertainment has announced a couple licenses: Gundam-san, SD Gundam, Son Gokuden, Brave Battle Warriors, and Gundam Build Divers Re-Rise. So finally, the SD Gundams. We were talking about that when we were doing the full rewatch of all the Gundams, because they were just sending, like, literally every day I got a package and it was another Gundam, and I'm like, okay, here we go. We're doing another Gundam, Chris. We were curious at some point if we were going to be getting the SD Gundams to review, and so there you go. I guess they're coming. They're on the way eventually.
Yeah, SD Gundam is definitely one that I've always been curious as to what the concept behind the SD Gundams were, for sure.
Yeah, probably taking a lot of the political intrigue and just having it be chibi Gundams fighting each other.
Yeah, right.
Which is fine. So, Sekai Project plans to release Inupara, Dog's Paradise, and Nekopara after games. So if you want the Inu version of all your Nekoparas, be excited for that coming from Sekai Project. Apparently they still exist.
I might actually be getting into the Paras here soon.
Chris is going to get into the Paras. It's time for Chris to get into the Paras.
Because there's Inupara.
Yes. That's all you have to. The Nekos? No, that wasn't enough. The Inus, that was enough.
Nekopara is adorable. I've definitely seen a lot of stuff coming from that, but I can't help it. The dog girls. I gotta get into the dog girls.
They're missing like one of the best ones. Which this one's kind of got the whole floppy ear thing going on, but yeah, they're all mostly just like pointy ears.
I'm more annoyed that there's not a wiener dog in there.
Okay, moving on. Moving on. That would be that one. I'm not going to say it. Nozomi Entertainment. Here's the crazy stuff. This is of like solo leveling. Gotcha. Excitement around finally the trailer for Trigun. That's exciting. Probably the most shocking news for me personally was this. Nozomi Entertainment and Right Stuff has announced they're collaborating with Macross Big West to release Macross Frontier and Macross Delta on Blu-ray in the US. Finally. And this keeps going. We got more of them. Additionally, they said they have Macross 7 that they're going to release on anime and on Blu-ray. And then Big West and Anime Limited later on announced that they are going to be doing Macross Plus on Blu-ray in the US and Canada and Europe. Anime Ego doing the Super Dimension Fortress Macross 2 Lovers again on Blu-ray. So, yeah. All this Macross just flooded Anime Expo. Like all these companies going, yeah, we're doing this one, we got this one covered. Hey, we'll do the one over there. They're like, it's like all these people jumping out there saying we're doing all these Macrosses. And I've said it before. I've watched like the original Butchered stuff, but I haven't been keeping up on all these other Macross because again, they weren't ever licensed in the West, unfortunately. My excitement is that this is finally coming to the West. Like, we're finally going to get this stuff. That's where I'm excited about. I'm excited this has finally been released from the death grip that was Harmony Gold. And, of course, we talked about this last year, that they came to some sort of agreement that they would be able to do distribution. It's just now even when that was announced, I had my fears because they just got burnt so bad with Harmony Gold. Why would they ever trust another company? Well, apparently they trust Nozomi Entertainment and Right Stuff and Anime Limited and Anime Ego, obviously. So I'm happy that trust is finally reestablished to the West, and we're finally, the fans and everybody else is going to be able to finally experience this stuff again legally, and we'll finally be able to get this stuff. So, and I already got my email saying, hey, do you want a review copy from Right Stuff? So I'm like, yes, please. Yes, please. We're finally getting this. I am so super excited for you guys. Thank you so much that you guys got this. I was more happy for the fans and Right Stuff and Nozomi Entertainment and obviously the original owners to finally be able to get this stuff over here. So super hype.
For sure. This is one that I've actually wanted to dig into at some point for a long time. One of my favorite, if you want to call it a meme clip, is the Nyan Nyan song that I've always, I've actually brought it up in Discord a couple of times of that. No, this is the original, and I love it. So yeah, I definitely can't wait to sink my teeth into this one.
So yeah, since I rushed through pretty much everything, let me make sure it's perfectly clear. Nozomi Entertainment, Right Stuff. They're collaborating. They're going to be getting Macross Frontier and Macross Delta on Blu-ray. Macross Frontier is releasing the full series on Blu-ray in a Blu-ray set. Macross Delta is a full box set, as well as 2 additional versions of the first episode. And then with the other one, they're going to be doing the Macross 7 on 2 Blu-ray discs, both regular and Ultra Collector's Edition with bonus content. The first 1 through 29 episodes, plus the shorts, will be in the first box set. The second set will have 30 through 49 and Encore. So that's for the Macross 7. When it comes to the Anime Limited box set, I think they just said they're going to be doing the release of Macross Plus. Anime Ego doing the Super Dimension Fortress Macross 2 Lovers again on Blu-ray. So they didn't announce a box set or anything. So Yeah, that's super crazy. Like I said, I'm super excited for this. This is a long time coming, and I'm glad it's finally getting love. And maybe, hopefully, anything future Macross related won't have any sort of hiccups. So, yeah, there you go. Super excited. Super excited for that. So, moving on, we have Crunchyroll has announced that it will be streaming the two OVAs for My Hero Academia starting on August 1st. This will include the first episode with an original story around the baseball-loving pro heroes who form a hero league baseball. The second episode will take place during the internship at Endeavor's agency and cover a string of graffiti incidents. So, more Hero Academia coming before the next season. So, exciting stuff. Crunchyroll also announced they will be streaming To Your Eternity second season in fall, which is a surprise to nobody because they had the first season, so they're probably gonna get the second season. So there you go. Let's see here. This is very unfortunate. I've actually been looking forward. I think Chris has talked to me a little bit about his thoughts on it, but yeah, Wit Studio during all the craziness of Anime Expo decided to tweet out that they are launching a 10th anniversary exhibit Kickstarter, with its goal to have physical events around the world showing their works. Yeah, Kickstarter for their marketing team, apparently. Apparently their marketing team sucks so much they need to have us pay for them to market. But no, the idea and what I got from the video, because this still doesn't make any sense to me why they're doing this, but from the video, they basically say, okay, we have this exhibit in Japan. It's really cool. It's got like all these walls covered with, key arts and all this different stuff for each project they've done in the past. Some really cool stuff. And they want to take that exhibit and take it to different countries. So if they get this funding, they will go to other. I don't think they even announced what's. Here's the other thing that bugs me. There's no like, if we get funded, we'll go to these places. It just says we're going to go around the world. Like there's nothing in here that tells me what they're doing. They just want to go overseas with the exhibit, which that kind of bugs me. I don't like the idea of how like very vague it is, but it's there if you want to fund it. Obviously, I think probably most people would be wanting to fund this because there's Kickstarter exclusives, like you get your name on some stuff, and you can get signatures from some people from Wit Studio. Like this one's access to their Discord, your name on Wit Studio official website, a special message card digital from Wit creators, access to online talk show by Wit creators, autograph artwork digital by Koji. Yeah, you get some digital stuff. I think one of them's like, if it's like really expensive, I think you get to do a studio tour or something like that. No, just an online meeting. If you pay them, what is that?
$10,000.
$10,000, you can get all the other stuff that I just mentioned, plus what next? Still digital stuff from them. Access to behind the scenes video by Kyoji Asano. An online meeting with Wit creators. You can visit Wit Studio and dinner with creators. I'm probably not paying for that flight, by the way, I would assume. Otherwise, they just take a huge chunk out of it. Hand-drawn portrait of you by a Wit creator. Boom, there you go. It's got 5, and that's pretty much, if they have one person doing that, so that's pretty much half of what they've already made.
You're right.
That's half of what they've already gotten 18,000 USD, and that was a 10,000 one, so that's half of their backers right there. But I don't know, I'm being very negative here, but it's still the point. This is something they should be doing. This is their marketing team. Their marketing team should be figuring this stuff out. I don't know why they're asking people to pay for them to take this to places we haven't even. They don't say where in the United States. They don't say if they're even going to the United States. Just, we're going to take this overseas. Give us money. It seemed like a very dumb idea. I don't know who greenlit this. It looks bad. It shows that they're having troubles. Their whole statement in the video is that we want to take this around the world because we're just not very well known in animation. We're not known in animation worldwide. And it's like, yes, if anybody knows about anime, they know what Wit Studio is. Now, if they're specifically meaning like they want recognition like Disney has, you're not getting it. Anywhere outside of anime,
definitely
fans,
not for $36,000.
yeah, anywhere outside of anime, nobody's gonna know an animation studio besides Disney or Pixar. So don't expect that by putting a pop-up place somewhere in we don't even know where. It's not gonna make you suddenly be recognized. So it seems like and it's not that much money, honestly, considering for a marketing department for a big studio that's, part of other companies, but it just looks bad. It just looks bad, honestly, in my opinion. But if you want some digital goods, I guess you can pay, jump in there. I mean, people do what they want to do with their money.
Agreed. But when it comes down to it, I mean, we're going to what Andrew had mentioned a little bit ago of it's hard to kind of jump on board and say, hey, we agree with this when we don't. We had the same problem when was it Funimation did a Kickstarter for something else, and it was like, why? They're a big company. I mean, theoretically they're a big company, and they're wanting the fans to put money into something that to support a project that takes out the quote unquote the risk involved. This is another one of those that is, if you want to put advertising out there to get your name out there, then go and do it. That's your risk. You're asking the customer to cover your risk when that's the point, is you get the rewards if you take the risk, and you're trying to take out the risk and still reap the rewards. I mean, we're not getting none of these. I mean, digital, definitely not digital. That's just insulting, honestly.
Yeah, like the best one is like $200, and it's for an autographed Wit Studio original T-shirt, cap, and tote bag. Just sign a piece of paper. I don't need a tote bag with a signature on it. Why do I get a tote bag with a signature on it?
I mean, to me, this looks like almost insulting when it comes down to it. And I hate to be the quote unquote negative person, just like Andrew's saying. He doesn't want to be a negative person in this situation either. But when it comes down to it, this is bad business. It really comes down to it. This is bad business. And I don't want to go right into the idea, like Andrew was saying, this looks like something of somebody who's hurting for money and they need to do something like this. I guess I can kind of see that. It is, I almost hate to say that I agree with that. I mean, otherwise this doesn't make sense. It's not, and that's why I said it's bad business. Something about this doesn't work.
It's almost like somebody said, "Hey, man, can you guys come to Anime Expo?" And they're like, we don't have any money." Oh, okay, darn. If we really want to go, let's just do a Kickstarter. Yeah, let's do a Kickstarter. Because that's what it's probably going to be. They'll get this money and then
go to
Anime Expo.
Anime Expo.
And
makes sense.
That's going to be it. But it's like you already have like directors and stuff going to Anime Expo all the time, but their marketing team puts money aside for that. But or technically, in a lot of cases, they get paid to go there. So
I wonder if they did try to go to Anime Expo and somebody said no, nobody knows who Wit Studio is, and that's why they're doing this, so that it's like,
yeah, people at Anime Expo definitely not going to know who Wit Studio is. Attack on Titan, like half of the cosplayers are Attack on Titan. It's just it boggles my mind. But again, it's that whole idea. This isn't forcing anybody to give them money. People can see what they get from it. I'd stay the hell away from that Discord, because that Discord's probably gonna be crazy. But there you go. That's a thing. That's a thing that's happening. But yeah, if you're looking for, I said if you want some goods, yeah, go for it. I wouldn't shame anybody for getting a tote bag with who knows whose signature on it. It doesn't even say whose signature. Maybe you get to choose.
Well, see, you made their point. You don't know who it is that's signing the tote bag.
Yeah, it's literally like the guy from the marketing department. The marketing guy at Wit Studio is like, yeah, here you go. Here's your tote bag. Thank you. Anyways, that's enough of that. Kadokawa has listed the 13th volume of Eromanga Sensei light novel as its final volume. So that's coming to a conclusion. It's gonna be titled Eromanga Sensei or Eromanga Festival, and it's scheduled to ship on August 10th. So there you go. That's coming to a conclusion. We're doing a rewatch right now on the Discord.
Is that why they're doing the rewatch of it? Because they're ending?
Maybe. I don't know. Wasn't my pick. K-On! Was my pick. It was also my the one that I was, nominating, so I couldn't vote for it. But somebody else voted for it. There you go. Yeah, so if you want to rewatch Eromanga Sensei, I think they're like on the 3rd or something episode, so jump on the Discord and join in on those. Yeah. An official website was opened to announce the Tale of the Outcast manga is getting a TV anime adaptation. Wisteria is an orphan girl living in a corner of British Empire at the end of the 19th century. Her life is desolate and bleak until she encounters Malbus, a powerful but equally lonely immortal being with a furry appearance, hounded by hunters. Together, Wisteria and Malbus roam the empire populated by humans and human-like beasts in search for a place where they can live together in peace. Crunchyroll has already announced they will be streaming it, so there you go. Exciting. Beauty and the Beast. Could it be?
Think so?
I don't know. Just a beast, dude. Beast dude and a girl. It's got to be Beauty and the Beast, obviously. Yeah. Crunchyroll also announced they were going to be screening that Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime Scarlet Bond film in major global territories in early 2023. So be excited if you're a fan of that Time I Got Reincarnated as Slime.
Sure. I am absolutely. I'm happy that they got the movie.
So
I wish that they would get more movies.
I would wish they would stream it quicker.
Right?
But there you go. Fans of Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro, the official website has announced that the second season will premiere in January of 2023. So be excited for that. Just not really around the corner. We have literally 2 more seasons to go through. But
right.
They did subtitle it, not second season, by the way. They titled it as Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro, the second attack. So it's Nagatoro's second attack on him. So there you go. That's exciting. Finally, we have a bunch of licenses. Yen Press has announced at Anime Expo they are licensing I'm Quitting Heroing manga, K-On! Shuffle manga, K-On! Omnibus Collection, Puella Magi, Oriko, Magica Manga Omnibus, Your Forma, Apparently Disillusioned Adventures Will Save the World, Fruits Basket, another volume 4, Konosuba Memorial Fanbook, The Optimistic Princess and all of her The Optimistic Princess Has All the Answers light novel, Pandora 7 manga, Shy manga, Even If the Love Disappears from This World Tonight novel, Honey Lemon Soda manga, Doomsday with My Dog manga, which obviously just is now going to be airing an anime adaptation, for those that don't know, and Oshinoko manga, which, again, is another one that's got a recent announcement for an anime adaptation, and I know that a lot of people were mentioning that didn't have a physical release, so apparently Impress was like, yeah, snatch that up. Everybody's super excited about this anime. Guess we'd do a manga print. So there you go. And J-Novel has licensed the following titles. Riri, formerly the fallen daughter of the Duke, Isekai Tensei Recruited to Another World, Yuri Tama From the Third Wheel to Trifecta, Yashiro Kun's Guide to Going Solo, The Conqueror from Dying Kingdom, Backstabbed. Oh gosh, this title. I have to read it again. Backstab in a backwater dungeon. My trusted companions tried to kill me, but thanks to the gift of an unlimited gacha, I got level 99999 friends, and I am out for revenge on my former party members and the world. Death's Daughter and the Ebony Blade 7th Dungeon Dive, Aim for the Deepest Level, and Full Metal Panic short stories. So, yes, I do want to acknowledge that the fact that they somehow managed to put that backstab in the backwater dungeon on the cover. That whole thing is on the cover. Like you see it all the time with the light novels. They actually do that, but yeah, it's funny to see on an actual written in English, because obviously it takes more characters to write it out in English than in Japanese, and that's a lot on a book cover. But there you go. Exciting stuff.
There's quite a few that look interesting in there.
Yeah. And that's it. That's all the news. We managed to get through all that. Chris. Now I'm shocked because I'm like, okay, now we get to actually do some questions. And I wasn't fully prepared to do questions because I didn't think we'd actually get done with all that. But Yeah, as usual, you can submit questions by going to otakuspirit.com. There is a contact us button there. You can submit through the website itself, along with all the 50 million spams that I get on a daily basis. And so I have to check them all to make sure they don't delete the wrong ones. Additionally, you can also submit it by going to our Discord. Again, you can get the link at otakuspirit.com. Join our Discord, and then there is an anime question or submit questions channel in there that you can submit your questions at, like many other people do. And there's email, andrew@otakuspirit.com. So plenty of ways for you to get a hold of us and submit your question. I'm still scrolling. It's all this conversation stuff. These bad people that put conversations in the middle of all the questions. I'm trying to mark them as I go along. Yes, conversations, bad people, more bad people, more bad people. Scrolling through all these bad people. I think that's the first one. No, that's somebody else's. There's still conversation happening. Bad people. Dang it. I think this is one. Yes, I don't think we've done this one. Sabanasu wrote in on the Discord, says 10 earliest anime, can't remember exact order, might be forgetting something. I was on Toonami from 98 to 2001. I probably saw it later than I discovered it could be downloaded fan subs. I just downloaded stuff and found out what it was later on. I was Googling to see what was on Toonami at the time to put stuff I forgot on the list. It has Ronin Warriors, Legend Armor Samurai Troops, 1989, before Toonami. That's going back. I don't even think I'd seen that one. That maybe. He's got number 2 is Pokemon. Obviously, that's an easy one. Dragon Ball's number 3, Dragon Ball Z. Neon Genesis Evangelion, downloaded it in the late 90s. Yeah, I think I want to say I downloaded Evangelion first, but it was for sure my first, like, when I got old enough to actually have a job, that was like my first buy. Like, I bought a DVD player, a TV, and the full, like, box set. That's the DVD box set from back then. So that was definitely one of my first actual, like, I got stuff before then, but it was usually like with a friend, you would trade stuff because you didn't have money, or at least I didn't have money. But that was like the first I bought this, and it was pretty expensive at the time, obviously, because it was a full box set, but never regret it, and I cherish it to the day. That's like my, like, if the house is burning down, that's like one of those ones that's like I kind of want to grab that of anything else. But
it's hard to remember when I first watched Evangelion. It seems like I watched it on VCR, but man, that's so long ago. Good luck.
VCR? What is a VCR?
I know that thing.
But yeah, next Sabanasu has Mobile Suit Gundam Wing. That's another popular one that was on Toonami back in the day. Tenchi Moyo, nice. That was on Toonami? Was that on? I don't think I've ever seen that on Toonami.
Tenchi was on it. Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt it, but still, I don't recall seeing that. So that's crazy.
That for sure was on VCR. I know for a fact we watched that on VCR.
That was for sure on VCR. Yeah, that was like I said, back when I was watching shows with my friend, and yeah, everything was VCR then.
I got it cool. Secondhand from Andrew, but yeah, I got it.
Yeah, and then he went to when he moved out, he like just bought like everything.
Yeah,
like he even bought Mouse. He had a copy of Mouse. He went and he pressed buy on Mouse. He bought Mouse. It's weird. I still remember that stupid title card, Mouse.
It's actually funny because back then there was this one website where it was called DVD Express, and I spent so much money at this freaking website. They actually sent me a shirt. I had that shirt for forever, and my mom's like, "Why didn't you throw this away?" No, I spent a god awful amount of money to get that shirt. I'm keeping that freaking shirt.
I got acknowledged. That's sometimes what I think of with Right Stuff is like they're probably the only, because here's how I got to the point where here was the steps to the point in which we started doing reviews for Right Stuff. I was doing gobs of buys and videos about unboxing all this, especially during the holiday seasons. Like I was doing these massive holiday unboxing videos. And at some point, Sean Kleckner jumped in my chat or my comments and was like, "Yeah, great video, thank you." And I'm like, Sweet. This is at the time where you could actually send people messages. So I sent him a message. I'm like, hey man, can I talk to your PR group so we can do some, reviews and stuff. And so there was a side of me that kind of thought that he was okay with giving me the email because he knew how much I was buying from them. So it's like, hey, we'll just have to send him a review copy every now and then. Dude's buying crap tons of stuff. We might as well send him one Blu-ray. But that was kind of a funny thought process there. But I probably shouldn't reveal that. But I'm not saying that's what they did. They know that we have a podcast and everything. So anyways, but yeah, the next one has got Outlaw Star. Yes, I watched Outlaw Star. Outlaw Star was kind of my Cowboy Bebop. Like, I liked Outlaw Star a lot when I was younger, enough that I bought the cool Blu-ray box that they end up releasing. But yeah, that one's a good one. That one's got like the whole thing, like it was during that time where you had like the core is the cute girl kind of thing. So I enjoyed it. It was fun. Big O.
I really want to finish that series.
Oh.
That's one of those shows that I got real heavy into when it was up.
Anime Batman, man.
Exactly, and I wanted to watch it so bad, or wanted to finish it. I got to a certain point that things were about to flip, and that's all I'm going to say because I didn't go that far into the after part of that part, and I want to finish it. That's one of those, but if I finish it, I have to start over from the beginning because I don't remember much of anything anymore.
This was during the time when Chris liked anything that had android girls in it, like Chobit.
She was so awesome. I love her. Her artwork is perfect. So yeah.
There you go. Samanasu has number 9 as Dragon Ball GT. Ooh, that's an interesting one. I actually rewatched GT here about a little over a year ago. Me and the other brother, he's known as the other brother. I was over at his place and we just like started from like the beginning and watched through everything all the way through GT. And I was arguing with a lot of people that I believe that like I enjoyed where GT went versus where Super went. So it's still good. Like it's still got some good stuff in there. Like I think the concepts that they had there, essentially the idea that they did so many wishes that they were causing problems from those wishes. Because obviously the joke around Dragon Ball is that every time something happens to somebody, they just wish them back. Well, this is getting into like, they have repercussions for all that, which was kind of cool, honestly. But yeah, there you go. It was much more interesting than let's go to an interplanetary universe fight tournament. Yay. Another tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So.
GT was one of those that I started in. There's a lot of things that is in the lore that a lot of people were borrowing from GT. So because it was for the longest time considered canon. So there's a lot of stuff that I really, really wanted to see, and I never did get quite that far into it to find out how all that stuff works.
Yeah, we didn't know it was. We didn't know it wasn't canon for a while there. We didn't know because I don't think they would want to say, but. Obviously, people that knew the manga would probably know that it was going off the rails. But yeah, afterward, Gundam X, which we watched here recently through DVD. So I
liked that one.
Good. Yeah, I enjoyed it. But yeah, that's it. Spanasu says I wanted to put Love Hina, Naruto, and Yu-Gi-Oh on the list, but they were later on. So that's definitely your basic package of I watch shows on television, except for Evangelion. Most of that and obviously War Gundam X were pretty much the huge on the Toonami block. So you got your standard. This is definitely a lot more standard than Ira.
Well, I mean, pretty much your list is what we would expect most people who are in the shonen camp. That's pretty much a lot of those are what I see there.
Yeah. Warspite says, do you think it's still wrong to use pirate sites if you pay the streaming service because all the anime of the season is on site and easy to grab instead of being on 5 to 6 different sites? I will put a huge stipulation in here. Yes, if you pay for Crunchyroll, but you don't watch the shows on Crunchyroll, it could affect the shows themselves. it depends on how they set up the agreements. Technically, you're putting money into Crunchyroll, and Crunchyroll then later pays into other shows, and they get their money anyways. But there is an argument to be made that sometimes they do have royalty setups where if you're not, I think at some point they stated, and I don't know if they still do this, at some point they stated the idea that whatever shows you watch, that money goes in that show, which doesn't make any sense to me because they have to pre-license this stuff. So it really just depends on how they actually set up the license. They could just pay, here's a lump sum, we get this many episodes, and those episodes come to Crunchyroll and they air them, and there's no interaction there. Sometimes there possibly is some royalty fees they're paying based on you watching those shows, but inactivity on certain shows does technically mean that their likelihood of, buying another season of it could be down. But we've always been from the mindset you do what you want to do. We're not your parents.
Yeah.
I download Summertime Rendering. It hasn't been on Disney Plus over here. I don't think I'd even plan on jumping on Disney Plus for it, even if it did. But I don't judge anybody. I mean, we've pirated plenty of stuff. We're not the knight on the horse looking down upon people for pirating stuff.
Yeah, we've made our arguments clear on you should support the sites, but when it comes down to it, I mean, I think that's the strongest argument for somebody. When it comes down to it, I've paid into it. Like Andrew was saying, I think that's something that you should really take into consideration because, yes, like Andrew was saying, Crunchyroll at some point did point out that when you actually are hitting that particular episode, it is supposed to be. I don't know if they're actually doing it. I don't see their finances. I'm taking their word for it. Supposedly, you click on it, that means that company gets a royalty of some sort. So, and that's where I've always been, because I'm in the same realm when it comes to stuff like video games, which is a lot easier to provide an argument for. I have the physical copy. What I do with the ROM after that is on me. That's my property. I own it. I purchased it. Blah, blah, blah. That's the strongest argument anybody can make for that kind of stuff. But when it comes down to it, you're technically still supporting a pirate site because somebody is getting money off of that. They are not, that hosting fee is not for free. That those websites do put ads up. Those ads send money somewhere. Whether you agree with where that money is being sent or not is irrelevant. You are sending money to somebody. Somebody's making money. So take that for what it is.
Yeah. Like we said before, it's do what you want to do with your money. And I think that's a discussion that's coming up again right now because Summertime Rendering on Disney Plus and they're not showing it. We still have the arguments coming around like Isekai Uncle, which is on Netflix and it's going to be delayed again. So that's bringing up the conversation there. And then yes, technically, additionally, people are now having to subscribe to High Dive when they didn't have to before because there's a lot of content on there. Now I'd make the argument that people were subscribing to Funimation. They no longer have to, so just move that over there. Technically, High Dive was cheaper. But that's still bringing up a conversation. And then you have the fact that High Dive's kind of struggling right now.
Having a real hard time. Yeah. My Roku's shut down several times on their app. It's really frustrating.
And then that's more frustrating for me because I keep telling people support High Dive, High Dive, and now High Dive's choking. And now it's my hope that High Dive is doing something right now to fix it. Because they obviously put out a free 30-day trial coupon code at AX. So that obviously they probably had a ton of people flooding in. People flooding in from Maiden Abyss, Tokyo Mew Mew and stuff, Call the Night. And my hope is that they're going to fix that. We just need it's how long do you patience?
The growing pains.
And I think my biggest problem with that really, and it's inexcusable, they need to say something. They need to make a statement. They're being completely silent, and I think that's really wrong. High Dive, if somebody at High Dive, Sentai Filmworks is listening to this, somebody say something. You don't have to say, we screwed up, my bad. Just say we see a problem and we're working to fix it. That's all you have to say. You don't have to admit that you're terrible. You don't have to admit that you did something wrong with your website. Just say that you're working on it. Say that you acknowledge it. That's all. Just acknowledge that you're doing that something is wrong. And I think their silence is just going to leave a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. And I don't like that. Fix your problem, make a statement, and be better. Just be better. So yeah, I'm gonna keep supporting them, but there's gonna be like maybe a month bracket or something. Something needs to be fixed at that point. If there's something critical if your servers are overloaded, get new servers. If it's a problem with you, maybe a code in the site, get a stopgap. Get something in there to at least get you going. I would probably argue it's their website looks too bloated. They need to chill down their website a little bit. It's got too much crap in it. But yeah, we'll see. I'm still holding hope for them. But like I said, it does bring the question. I don't get the 6 to 7 different websites. I'm probably sure that you're probably just joking about that, like the whole fish. I caught a fish this big kind of thing. It's literally two and a half. If you count Netflix, it's 3. But it's High Dive, Crunchyroll. If you're in another country, possibly Disney Plus for summertime rendering. It's not here, so it's not plausible here. What else? That's it. High Dive and Crunchyroll's really got pretty much everything.
That problem was a couple of years ago for sure when we had Crunchyroll, Amazon. I mean, yeah.
It was like Daisuke.net, Amazon, Crunchyroll, Funimation.
Viz tried to do it.
What was High Dive at the time? It was like Anime, the
Anime Network.
The Anime Network, yeah. That was bad. Yeah, that was a bad time, but now it's 2. So that's not really a plausible argument. So you did post that March, so maybe because then it was still technically Funimation was still there, so I'm acknowledging that worst by
Amazon strike.
Yeah, Amazon strike was a thing. That was in that
Daisuke. Was it Daisuke was the other one?
Yeah, Daisuke.net. Yeah. There is an argument to me right now that High Dive is struggling because they just put Vinland Saga on, and Vinland Saga has been stuck in Amazon hell for the longest time, so that could be why they're dying right now. So keep that in mind. But like I said, I'm gonna give them some time, but at some point I'm gonna have to. They're gonna have to say something or fix something, or I'm not gonna be able to support them anymore. I can't personally say people go support this when they won't fix their problems. So, but we'll see. Midas says, now as the season is over, which I'm guessing you're talking about spring. What is your favorites from the season? I made a whole video on it. But that's fine. Your favorite anime from spring, Chris? What was your favorite anime?
I don't remember.
I've already forgotten everything that aired.
My brain is in summer mode.
I can't even think of a name of the show right now.
Bookworm?
Yeah, Bookworm was a thing. But that probably Bookworm would be my favorite of the season. I mean, there was some other ones that definitely surprised me, like I'm Quitting Heroing and Executioner and Way of Life.
The spring. There you go.
I like when Chris thinks he's helping. I just point somewhere. Yeah, I want to say A Sentence of Bookworm was easily the best. Summertime Rendering's still technically going on, so I can't count that one. But I'm Quitting Heroing was a surprise. The ending kind of sucked. Executioner and Way of Life was great. Kongmin has a fantastic ending. I still love Demon Girl Next Door. If I had to pick a show that ended in the season, because like I said, I'm not going to count Summertime Rendering because it's still going, it's probably A Sentence of Bookworm. Easy. There's just nothing that's better than that show. I mean, Spy X Family was great, but nowhere near A Sentence of Bookworm, unfortunately. So, why do they have listed Spy X Family as Netflix? I know it was supposed to go on Netflix, but where's the Crunchyroll listing? They're like putting the middle finger to Crunchyroll, like, not putting Crunchyroll in here. It's listed as plan to watch. I must not have completed my entry for that one. Midas also has favorite characters. Mine,
Decimi. Yeah, mine would be a definite
Anya.
Tsubaki.
Anya.
Anya is adorable.
Minnow.
Sachiko and the Ghost Girls.
All the characters from Executioner Way of Life. Minnow, except for Akari. Akari can whatever. But no, Minnow and Momo and Ashina, they were fantastic characters. I loved them. Hort from Dawn of the Witch was great. obviously Shamiko. Shamiko forever.
Itsuka was adorable.
Yeah. Luz was great too. Yeah, Shamiko's forever Shamiko. I love Shamiko. I think that's pretty much it. Favorite OPs and EDs? I don't remember.
We did an entire music podcast. Check that one out.
That. The OP for Executioner Wave Life was like always good. Now Toyami did the OP for Ascendance of Bookworm season 3, and I loved it to death. It was so good, and the visuals were good too because it kind of shows that progression of her story. Konichi Tsubaki's OP was fantastic. I think
Healer Girls was pretty great. I liked that one.
Just the music was great in general for that one. Favorite visuals. For style, I would say is Executioner Way of Life because I really loved that art style.
I would probably go with Executioner on visuals, for sure.
I love the softness that was of Daimon. A lot of the action scenes of Konichi Tsubaki plus the character designs were fantastic. They did drop off at the later part, but it was still really good looking. I love those character designs. I think that's pretty much all I would note. Yeah. I mean, Spy X Family, but that was just two really fantastic studios that just put that together. So the animation was top notch there.
Some of the visuals in Kaguya was pretty fantastic too.
Favorite audio? I don't know. I can't tell you now. It's been too long. I know you asked that on April 1st, so that's our bad. Wait, that's for winter. We're talking spring. It's fine though. That's why I hate taking too long to answer certain questions because we're answering questions for spring, but it worked. It still applies, right, Miras?
He was probably figuring it was going to be when we finally got to it now.
probably. But no, favorite episodes. The later episodes of Sentence of Bookworm was killing me. Like every episode was ending. I'm like, I need the next episode now.
I would probably agree. Sentence of the Bookworm had some pretty fantastic impact when all was said and done.
What was the one? There was one that had an episode that blew me away.
I'm gonna give a shout out to Science. The Science Fell in Love. I kind of mentioned this in my review, but the last few episodes of that really kind of got into more of an accepting yourself for who you are and had a fantastic impact last episode or two. But it does get kind of heavy for those of you who are a little more sensitive. So yeah, for sure. It is a massive impact. And I was really blown away that they actually went the direction that they did with that.
The Boy Called Ming last episode was phenomenal. Everything built up to that. I mentioned in a whole video, like technically with the 11th episode, they kind of did the starting point. So it's almost like I want to say it's the last episode and a half was the best. But it was like everything that was built up. Like everything was, it was almost as if everything was Kome's build up to this one thing. And the way that they pulled that off in the end, I'm like, they nailed it. They nailed the last episode. Unlike I'm Quitting Heroing, which this last episode was its worst episode because I didn't feel like it nailed it at all. So that was unfortunate. But yeah, that was some good episodes. I feel like I'm missing one, but that happens. I think the Miss Shachiku and the Baby Ghost had like one of the most sad episodes. The cat story. I'm still not over the cat story. It was tragic. I didn't like it. Sorry, Midas. You get an updated version of your question. I hope you enjoyed that. So, can we do one more? Have you ever watched an anime based on OPED alone?
Yes.
Said Hidden Weeb. Yes. That was kind of the spur for the music podcast. If you guys check out some of our earliest, don't please, because our earlier episodes suck. If anybody checks out, there's a lot of people that go where I'm listening to all of your podcasts, and it's like, no, don't do that. But our earlier podcast music episodes, we literally had one episode where all we did was our favorites of all time at that time. The whole idea of that was we from experience have had cases where we listen to a song and go, this song's cool. What is it from? And then you go watch the show. It's happened a lot. Utawamono is a prime example.
Well,
Utawamono had a great OP. I heard on a a radio station for anime, and I went and watched it and really loved it.
In particular, for me, it was Mirai Nikki, Future Diary. I definitely, but at the time I was into dark stuff, so seeing that, and I was like, oh, this looks insane. I gotta see what this show is, and yeah, went and watched it for sure.
Now, have I ever watched the show just to keep watching it, just because I like the OP and ED? No. I've had times where I'm not enjoying a show, and then I'm like, the OP's good. I mean, technically, the Life Hacker Girl was like, most of the show was the OP, and it was a really good OP, but was enough to keep watching the show just to watch that OP over and over again. But it was still a good song. But yeah, look, there's still people. Look, Hidden Weave here replying to other people. Stop. I'm gonna start giving like slaps to everybody that is bad for posting replies to other people's questions. Let's see if there's
maybe we should just make a sub thing so that y'all can do that.
A sub thing?
A sub channel underneath that channel so that people can talk about that.
No. They'll still post here. That's the whole problem. There's a million channels where they could post in. They still post in here. That's what I was telling people. Just like quote it and go somewhere else with the quote. That's all you gotta do. Yeah, they're still talking about pirating and stuff. There's like a whole discussion about pirating in here. You bad people. Talk about torrents. My gosh, this is the only reason to be perfectly honest, I'm not mad. It's just the only thing that I struggle with is I'm afraid I'm going to miss an actual question because I'm scrolling through a bunch of comments back and forth.
But Ira's already, I think Ira.
Yeah, Ira got
it kind of chilled out after. You're probably still catching.
Ira was involved too, so I gotta smack Ira too. I don't care if your avatar is cute Shamiko, you're still gonna get a slap. There's a question. I finally found a question. When are you guys reviewing the greatest Shonen Jump property, One Piece? I kind of alluded to that earlier. I know there was a lot of excitement about what happened recently in the manga, which I don't know what happened, but something happened.
It will be started.
I think I want to just burn through the manga at some point.
We will be starting that review next February 30th, on 2022 or 2023, excuse me. So just expect us to have a full review on February 30th.
February 30th, on the date. I'll make sure that I post it at 12 o'clock a.m.
Yes.
At the mark. Forsick Man replies saying after it finishes airing. You got.
We've already...
I'll allow that one. I will allow that one. Iris says probably never, considering they never watched, read it, and have stated multiple times they don't like how it. What? We
have said that.
We have said. You got me there. You got me there.
The honest answer is we have other properties that we are seriously considering. We've already mentioned that Bleach is coming up, and
I guess that's happening now.
We have Fairy Tail that we want to finish, and those two. After that, I mean, there's other properties that we're far more interested in checking out. Like Ira said, partially because we don't much care for the artwork. I've already started One Piece a couple times. Maybe one of these days. It's a daunting property. So no matter how you look at it, it's massive. We both love Dragon Ball Z, and I fell off at one point during Super. I want to get back to it, but you're still talking about massive properties that it's going to take a while to invest into.
Yeah. Bacon Chip says, what anime have you watched that left you really peed off? Oh, maybe just a episode of a show, not a whole series. For me, I would say it's the final episode of the series I was loving in Wonder Egg Priority. Still really like that show overall, but it still can't wash off the bad taste out of my mouth, sadly. I agree. I highly agree with Wonder Egg Priority, and I think it's more because I hate the fact that every time I talk about Wonder Egg Priority, everybody's like, but that ending. And it's like, yeah, I know, but just don't watch the ending. But it's still, the rest of the show was really amazing. It's just that ending. The same argument for I'm quitting heroing. The last episode sucked. It doesn't change the fact that the other episodes were phenomenal. And I still highly recommend the show. It's just that, yes, that last episode really bugs me to this point. It still bugs me that they built up so much tension, so much problem around what they were building up, and then it just feels like they shrugged it. And it didn't even address the original reason why it was so tension built. Like, they didn't even address it. It's like, I mean, I don't mind the direction they went. I just don't like the fact that they never really landed at that ending, really. So, but yeah, there's a lot. I would say any manga bait show, I hated the ending. The last episode, technically Spirit Chronicles, before they announced the second season, I hated the ending. Like, that last episode was like, what? Like, what? You're doing this? You're really going to end it like this?
It's one of those things that it's kind of, you tend to, at least me, I tend to kind of erase it from my memory and pretend that it never existed. So it's like trying to think of them off the top of my head is, I don't know. I know that I had a really, really rough time with the Professor Self, the Sage's pupil or something like that. I had such a hard time.
In Another World
with
with My Bladder.
The one this season was the ending of the Demon Lord.
Demon Lord? The ending of that Demon Lord one. You're talking about the
that
Reborn
one.
Demon Lord?
Reborn as a Demon Lord.
Typical nobody.
As a typical nobody. That one, I didn't much care for the last arc of that one. That one really kind of irritated me. It's one of those things that, I got lucky jumping off of Orimo at the time that I did, so that I got the Kuroneko ending, and I didn't have to end with the other ending. So I don't have that. I technically can't say that one made me mad.
Most hated. It still exists, though, and you know it exists.
Yes,
so it's still technically your most hated.
No, it
ending.
Does not exist because I've never watched it. It never happened.
Exists. It still exists as your most hated.
I do hate the ending of that particular episode because he decided he didn't want to stay with Kuroneko, but that's side of the point.
I'm still eagerly awaiting a sequel to In Another World with My Bladder. I think that would be a really great one to have a second season for, honestly. Not really, honestly. I'm joking. Don't. Every episode of 86 I hated because it was always cliffhangers. I'm just joking. I love the show. Taisho told me Fairy Tale because it ended, not necessarily that it was bad. I don't know. I'm trying to think of other ones. I mean, there's obviously the ones that I really hate because their production values go down the tube. Like
Whoa, yeah. Speaking of which, I was going to say Wizard Barristers really ticked me off the end of that one.
Yeah, Quality Code and Wizard Barristers.
Yeah.
It had some really rough episodes that really ruined it, unfortunately. But again, those aren't necessarily because of story or anything. It's just because the production values just go down the tanker, so... I want to say there's some that are... Oh, yeah, the last episode of Eden Deity's No Only Fees, because I know I'm never going to get a sequel anytime soon, and that left on a really bad note. But again, not necessarily that I hate it. It's just that it does bug me a lot, because I don't know when I'm ever going to get it to know what happens to the characters, because it leaves on a really... And I still highly suggest the show, by the way. It's just it left on a really... It bugs the hell out of me note, so... Yeah. Every episode of the new Higurashi When They Cry, because I hated their villain character that they brought in that new series. To Your Eternity, the moment they brought in the quote-unquote villain character in that show, I hated ever since then. I'm doing goofy things now, but that's you get the point. But yeah. I feel like any like truly point that made me so mad, I've forgotten at this point, because it is kind of like what Chris said earlier. It's like you just burn it out of your mind so that you never remember it, so that you don't have to worry about thinking on it. So, yeah. Anyhow, I think we'll leave it at that. But yeah, as usual, hope you guys enjoyed this podcast episode, getting everybody updated on Animex, AX, and all that kind of stuff, which was a lot of stuff to go through, but a lot of really exciting stuff. I'm really happy about the last episode of Akudama Drive. It was really good, though. It was like really good, but it still doesn't make it all less painful. I like when it's something that makes you mad, but at the same time you love the story because it's supposed to make you mad. The supposed to make you mad are good. It just, yeah, like Full Metal Alchemist and the Chimera thing. It's supposed to make you mad. You don't like it. But anyways, but yeah, as usual, at talkspirit.com, that's where you can go for all of our links, our social media links, ways that you can support us, which we greatly appreciate. Everybody that supports us, it means a lot to us. Additionally, if you have like a Prime account, you can go to our Twitch channel at twitch.tv/otakuspirited. That's an ED at the end of it. And you can just Twitch Prime us. We definitely appreciate it. But yeah, as always, we thank you guys for listening. We hope you all enjoyed, and you all take care.
Os.